Seattle's contribution to popular music is undisputed. You know the names, from Hendrix to Hart, Pearl Jam, Macklemore, and many, many more in between. In this series, we're going to examine Seattle's music community, in depth with unique performances, with interviews, and much, much more. We're also going to find out what makes Seattle, Seattle, and what makes this city on the shores of the Puget Sound one of the best places on the planet for music. Welcome to Sounds by the Sound.
Let's rock and roll.
Welcome to another episode of Sounds by the Sound. Right now, we are at the Seattle DJ Academy, where people all over the Pacific Northwest can learn basically everything that there is to know about the art of DJing. Today, we're going to take a look at Seattle's long, very rich, very cultured Seattle DJ community. It has been so healthy in the Pacific Northwest now for decades, and we will talk to the people doing it now and the people who have gone through it and did it back then about that long, rich legacy. We'll talk to DJ Eva, who is the CEO here at the Academy, about the mission, the goal, and everything that's offered here at the Academy. Also go to the Seattle Sculpture Park and meet up with DJ Altesse. Talk to her about her experience DJing here in the Pacific Northwest, plus see a performance at one of the most beautiful spots in the city. The Sculpture Park is absolutely out of this world. First though, we're going to talk with Wesley Holmes at Kerry Park in Seattle's Queen Anne neighborhood. You just can't say enough about the work that Wesley Holmes has done in the electronic music community over the last couple of decades. He's a cool, cool guy. We're going to start with the performance right now, right? Yeah, let's start with the performance right now. We're watching Sounds by the Sound. Hey, look. When did you first get your start in it?
87, 86, me and a couple friends bought this $40 Radio Shack mixer and just started geeking out. And between like the early hip hop and then early industrial music, like the Depeche Modes, the New Orders and things like that, Renegade Soundwave, it just became like a really geeky fascination, you know, taking your dad's turntables and mowing lawns on the weekend to get another turntable and just getting in the garage and trying to layer music and creating new types of beats. That progressed into just early introduction into clubs, and the momentum started picking up early 90s, getting established with some of the early crews. I have a lot of younger friends that are in the game or DJing or promoting now, and they see this amazing scene happening right now. But back then, you were lucky to get one gig every couple months.
In that late 80s, early 90s, electronic music was not what it is today.
No.
Why was electronic music the right thing for you?
Being a very introverted kid, I had like a really tight crew of outcast guys, and we would take the bus into Seattle, and we would always, outside of exploring, getting music that you couldn't hear on the radio. We would start going to underground clubs, and I remember just outside of like Encore, Oz, and then underground in the U District was actually a huge place that really opened my eyes to a bigger level, because that's where this infamous DJ called Donald Glod, who is probably one of my biggest inspirations, period, because this guy was doing all kinds of things. He changed and paved the road for so much that happens now. We would all go down there and just group around him and just watch this guy mixing a Depeche Mode record into a Renegade Sound record, into a Front 242 record, into a New Order track, but just the way he would layer things and the way he would cut his mixes was like a hip-hop DJ, but with house or industrial tracks. And we would just sit there and mind blown. It's not about who's last now. When we started getting into pre-rave warehouse parties where you would literally get a flyer with a phone number on there, call it up, meet somewhere in a totally illegal warehouse space, and just go down there, and there'd be 10 amazing DJs. You were lucky if you were able to get one of those spots. Of course, you would do it for free because that was your way to get into the door.
It's definitely a community where the passion, certainly back then, led to the popularity.
Right.
And people were doing it because they had a true love for both the music that was happening and the community that was being built around it.
Absolutely. The community and just pushing something that wasn't mainstream.
I love that you mentioned that, because that is a trait that we've found across the Pacific Northwest.
We are very fortunate to have a lot of established venues, whether they're small or big, that you're really able to go out and hear world-class dance music, house music, techno, tech house, or bass music right now, which is really big. We are blessed to have that in the community. Just to name off a few, outside of Rebar, which is one of my 21 plus year residencies, you got like the Monkey Loft. You've got Q Nightclub, which is now a big spot. Premwork is another new place. They're trying to push a place called Substation. Vermilion has a cute little spot that's still little seedy and underground, and I love that kind of stuff. And then my friends at the Upper Left crew are now starting to push a lot of old school warehouse parties, just bringing that non-club environment back to the city. So yeah, definitely right now we are very fortunate to have one of the best dance communities, I'd probably say in North America,
That's awesome.
right now.
Yeah. Thinking back to when you started in the late 80s to now, how has this community evolved? How has it changed?
Back when we started DJing, it wasn't the cool thing to do. Nobody wanted to be a DJ, but I think just slowly we would do whatever we had to do to get our equipment, go buy those stacks of records. And I think the means of how we play has evolved. Because back then it was all vinyl. You would show up with your crate of records. It was the early warehouse parties. It was the underground. Slowly you would just see the momentum growing year by year, and all of a sudden being able to see what used to be a 500-person party, and then all of a sudden it became 1,000 people. And then you look out and there's 2,000 people. You never knew how far the DJing or pushing house or underground dance music would go. And next thing you know, there's 5,000 kids in this room jumping up and down to house music. To a mixed crowd, to, I mean, gay, straight, just a very diverse crowd, because that's what music is all about. We do it for the unity and just bringing a community together under one meaning. There's no discrimination. It's just come as you are, get down. It's something that has always been my #1 priority, whenever I'm involved with pushing or putting on a night.
Very cool, very cool. He's got a strong DJ game. I don't know if you've seen this. Also, a real strong shoe game. He's putting me
You
to
got the
shame.
Adidas on. Yeah, these are, I had to wear my Pharrell.
Those are good, man. Those are good.
Stan Smith.
You're watching Sounds by the Sound. We are at the Seattle DJ Academy with their CEO, DJ Eva. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
If at any point this interview starts to go away that you do not like, feel free to take me out, okay?
Yes.
Will you tell us the goal or the mission of the DJ Academy? I'll take that.
I think Apple's kind of said it best with, we believe that people with passion can change the world. So we really inspire creativity. People are coming here for all different kinds of reasons.
What kind of classes do you offer here?
Okay, so we have a few different options. We have more of the beginning entry level, but every course is customizable, so it really doesn't matter where anyone is at. They can come in, we'll just customize it to you.
Do you have a more popular class?
Definitely. I created a boot camp. It's called Quantum Leap Boot Camp.
Cool.
It was a 1-month program.
Okay.
And by the end of it, you're literally ready to play out.
Wow.
Which is pretty incredible. I equate DJing to athletics. It's like a sport.
You started a boot camp.
Yeah, and I'm pretty hardcore by nature. I'm just very kind of extremist. It's like, how far can you take it? Endless possibilities, being limitless.
The electronic music community here, is there any very friendly electronic music venues?
Premwork is doing great things.
Okay.
They've done it since the beginning. New room called the Timber Room. I really like Q. It's kind of got this space age, big room vibe, but still has kind of a little bit of an intimate feel too.
Do you focus on digital versus vinyl? Do you do both? Is there one that you prefer?
We do both. I just think that the more platforms you can master, the better.
Yeah, sure.
We want to help people be able to make a living doing this, which can be really, really difficult.
Yeah, you have
You're
to
going to
love
run
it to
up
the bone.
against some serious challenges.
Absolutely. Well, the Seattle DJ Academy is a good place to get equipped for that life if you have it in you. Thank you.
Thank you
DJ
so
Eva,
much.
Thank you so much. This is Brooklyn. He is a student here. Brooklyn, what's your background DJing?
Well, I started when the school was just first starting off, was one of the first students. And after my first camp, I really did enjoy the art of DJing. Just something super cool that I've always wanted to get into.
So do you remember your first couple classes here? What kind of stuff did you learn? Just the basics?
In my first class, I was working on 2 CDJs and a mixer. And the first thing I learned was how to mix. Once I learned how to mix, it was really great and I could just keep adding on to it. As I went forward, I learned how to use effects, and how to completely smooth transition my mixes.
What's special about this place for you?
I just really enjoy the culture here and tons of the music as well.
You are 13 years old?
Yes.
What do you want to do, man?
I mean, I love DJing, but one thing I've really gotten into is producing music.
Yeah?
Which is also one thing that I've actually cooperated closely with the people here at Seattle DJ Academy to increase my skills and my sound pace.
Would you ever release music? Is that something you'd ever be interested in?
So yeah, actually I've been releasing music regularly, month to month basically, on my SoundCloud.
Of course you have.
Yeah. And I do enjoy mixing that. I've actually had a gig already at my first gig, which was at an event called Hoops for Hope.
Cool.
Which was a super cool gig that I did.
If you weren't supremely overqualified for my job, I'd be worried you'd take it. But you're a cool kid. Thank you so much, Brooklyn.
Thanks so much.
Absolutely. What's the most common misconception that people have about electronic music and DJing when they come in?
I'd say they have a misconception that it's a super easy thing to pick up. There's a lot of musicality to it. There's a lot of core fundamentals that you can kind of understand conceptually, but then once you get on, you're like, oh, okay, there's all this stuff I have to learn, and then learn DJing. Whether it's like turntables or CDJs, with turntables, you have to learn this device and how to use it, and then apply DJing to that device. So you have this record here, which is called a time code. It just has a signal on it, a tone, and that tone is just going at the speed of the turntable. That tone's then sent into a Serato box, which converts the signal so you control the MP3s on your computer.
By control them, do you mean the speed of the MP3? Is that like
yeah,
beats per
manipulating
minute?
them. So like, this is just, like I said, a signal, and then you have an MP3, so whatever signal is being transferred, you're controlling the MP3 on the computer itself.
I can see how you're a good teacher, man. I would have had no idea.
It's really reached a pivotal point where the scene here, it's epic. It's a small community, but it's thriving and it's growing, and it's going in the right direction. Seattle holds it down with some underground events. They're actually booking quality music and artists, and I really appreciate that.
Tell us more how your work intersects with the work here at the DJ Academy.
And we're peer entrepreneurs, so we're always brainstorming on strategies how to bring together community. My goal in life in general is to create experiences that connect us rather than disconnect us, but also really just being peers to each other in our businesses and encouraging each other as we go through the entrepreneurial journey.
She's the queen of apps, she's an entrepreneur. Most importantly, she's a friend here at the Seattle DJ Academy. Danielle, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Seattle has one of the best dance communities around the world these days. All of the environments around the city have the same ideals about maintaining a strong, healthy artistic community for all music lovers. It's all about love, respect, and supporting artistic expression across the board. Studio 44 goes down every Thursday night at Q Nightclub. It's also a fun night just to hang with friends who all have the mutual intent of going out, enjoying great music, and a positive social experience. One of the city's up-and-coming talents over the past couple years has been Rachel. She really has been focusing on her skills and has been establishing herself around the Northwest as someone to look out for. Brother Sean Majors is the main creative source behind the night these days, and along with Jason and the rest of the 44 team, they really have done an amazing job overcoming the standard obstacles any bigger dance night goes through, and continue to bring us some of the absolute best DJs and producers from around the world, with an updated, well-rounded, diverse mix of Seattle-based DJs that span all generations. As Studio 44 comes up on its 3rd year anniversary this fall, the collective efforts of the 44 team have made this one of the premier house and tech house nights in North America. And that's really an amazing feat if you think about this night coming out of Seattle.
Welcome back to Sounds by the Sound. Right now we'll head over to Seattle Sculpture Park, one of the most beautiful spots in the city, and meet up with DJ Altesse.
I discovered my love for dance music when I was really young. My parents really loved dance music, so just all around. I think I recognized and learned words like lyrics to dance music before I learned lyrics to pop music. Some of my influences are Daft Punk. I listen just to a bunch of different trance artists. Nowadays it's like a mixture. The dance scene here in Seattle, Sean Majors is one of them. He's definitely taught me a lot. Wesley Holmes, like the Lost Boys. Basically like the OG house DJs. They're really big influences and they've helped shape me to become the DJ that I am now. Upper Left is relatively new production company. It's Sean Majors and Doug McIntyre, who was part of USC events. And they kind of just came together and just created this baby called Upper Left, and they throw probably one of the best parties throughout Seattle. perform at Q a lot. That's my home base. That's where I have my residency. Q nightclub keeps like a proper house vibe, and I think that's like a really great thing to be a part of. I've also played at Aston Manor. I like Foundation a lot. They have a bunch of artists that I really love, and Kremwork is also another venue that I really love playing. The DJ scene in Seattle is pretty connected. Everybody knows each other. Everybody has like a communal mindset. Everybody's friends. We all appreciate different genres. I think it's pretty tight-knit. My mixing style, I try to make sure that my sets are really cohesive. As far as genres, I like to play the techier and bassier spectrum of house. A lot of my influences are from the UK, so I like to mix in a bunch of breakbeat influenced, as well as just basically whatever's on the bass spectrum of 4/4. Seattle's a beautiful city, so I just love being in this environment and being around here. It's really inspiring being by the water, and I think that's like a really great thing to be a part of. So I'm always feeling very fortunate.
Thanks for watching this episode of Sounds by the Sound. A special thank you to everybody here at the Seattle DJ Academy for letting us hang out, teaching us a thing or two. Thanks to DJ Altesse for hanging out and performing for us at the Seattle Sculpture Park. Right now it's Wesley Holmes. One more performance. Sounds by the Sound.